Hey y'all, welcome back to Ascending with Ashley. I'm Ashley. This is a collective convo, but it is kind of like a story time because I'm going to be sharing from my personal experience. I'm cleaning my desk right now, so I have shit every fucking where. My tapestry I use as my tablecloth is in the wash, so everything is everywhere. Anyway, I want to talk about coming out of survival mode, and I do have a book recommended. I haven't read this book yet, okay? But it is called Beyond Survival. So I want to talk about coming out of survival mode because yesterday I had this massive epiphany and like shift into really not being in survival mode anymore. And I want to tell you about how that feels. Because I've been in survival mode for a good 20 years at least, probably longer. You know, not consistently, but yeah, pretty much consistently. I haven't been able to allow my nervous system to relax for very long periods of time without something else uprooting me, right? There's always been the other shoe dropping. So anyway, yesterday I got a movie craving for a really dumb movie. It's an Adam Sandler movie. Did Niall put this sticker on here? That's actually a really good placement of sticker, buddy. Look, he put this fish sticker on here and it looks like aquarium things. That's kind of cute. He's mad at me right now because he's being disrespectful. So I told him to give me space. Anyway, this is a great book. It talks about like systemic oppression and coming out of that kind of survival. What do you do when you've been abusive? Transforming family. Isolation cannot heal isolation. I should read that chapter. Anyway, I found it on TikTok Shop because other people were talking about it. So I was like, you know what? I bought this maybe a year ago. Strategies and stories from the transformative justice movement. So this is talking about survival not only on an interpersonal level, but like beyond. So if that's something you want to check out, go ahead. Maybe we could do a book club because, like I said, I haven't fucking read it. I don't really enjoy reading. My brain is too loud. But I like books. Okay. Anyway, so yesterday I got this movie craving for bedtime stories with Adam Sandler, which we started watching here. I think my mom bought us the movie like right when we moved into this house, which was January of 2023. And as you know, if you haven't been here, we were off grid for a few months before that. Struggling like hard. It was a big leap of faith that I made to move us onto our land. And it would have been fine if my car and the right road would have been the thing. So that's what was really hard about it. I've already shared about that. That's not the story, but it was very traumatizing and excessive and hard. And Niall was 2, 3. I think he had just turned 3. Yeah. And then we got in this house after a couple months of that. Thank God. And when we moved in here, because I had all of my envisioning for the homestead, I had been like, if you've been here, you know, I have a whole playlist about the homesteading diaries. I had been working on that process, moving off grid and moving onto our land. We were living in an RV, and I had a second RV that I was going to turn into my workspace, which is still out there. They're both there. But I think I'm going to renovate them and do some other things, but we'll see. I haven't been out there in a long time. Anyway, when we moved into this house, I had like 2 air mattresses. I brought a TV with us. Can you knock it off? Immediately quiet. He's like, oh good, she's giving me attention. Kids, man. You know, it's been a struggle. And yesterday I was like, okay, let me put this movie on, because I got this just like, I get it downloaded and I'm like, you need to watch this movie. So I watched this movie and I'm like, because we really liked it, and then I lost the DVD and our DVD players broke, because that's what they do after, like, you know, you play a movie 3 times. Anyway, so I put this movie on and I'm transported back into this space of when we just moved into this house. And I just realized that I'm not in survival mode anymore. And I'm like, wow. And I've mentioned that here before, but like I don't know about you, but I get transported when I listen to music or watch certain movies. It takes me to the time in which I was using that, because I like to watch things on repeat a lot. I'm autistic, or whatever. I'm magical, but autism is what the system calls it, and it's the best label I've used for myself. But anyway, I was like, wow, I am no longer in this space, and I was like watching this movie, and I was like, damn, I remember Niall. I remember how hard it was at that time. Like, I was relieved to have a house, but like we didn't have anything, and it's just been this progression for the past 2 years. I've been building. Every paycheck we've been getting, I've been building. We've taken a couple trips back to the homestead to get our things. Maybe how many trips altogether? Like 5 or so. So I moved like a lot of the stuff that we wanted from our homestead, from the RVs here. But yeah, there's a lot of stuff that we didn't have in the RVs that we have now, like the whole backyard. And I'm just really excited. I'm excited because it's been such a journey. It's been a really long time coming. And I did this shit with very little help. Very little help. And I'm very proud of myself. And I'm not here to gloat, but I am here to give myself credit, because credit is due in this situation. And I'm grateful. And I also want to just remind you that housing is the antidote for struggle for a lot of people. With stable housing comes the ability to make a home, provide a safety for our families, have a regular sense of, being and safety, finding balance. All of that happens when you have stable housing. And I think right now, a lot more people are aware of what it means to have stable housing and what happens when you don't. In this country, it's now becoming like a felony to be homeless in some parts of the fucking country / everywhere. When I was in Los Angeles, that's what we organized. I was organizing around homelessness in LA, among other things, but working with LA Can, that's the main focus, is advocating for affordable, permanent housing. And getting the RV for me and Niall, because when I was trying to leave LA, I was calling homeless shelters here in Arizona from Los Angeles, trying to get in. I didn't know what was going to happen. I got in with a couple women, and I know I've shared this story before in other ways, but I think it's important because when we are thinking about living beyond survival, when we've become so accustomed to our nervous system staying in a state of fight or flight or fawn responses, instead of being able to truly relax. Like yesterday I was watching this movie and I put my phone down, because I usually often use my phone as like a secondary coping mechanism. I think a lot of us do. So subconsciously, just as a safety measure, like emotional safety is what I'm saying. But I put my phone down and I stayed present with this movie, and I'm like, wow, this movie's so dumb, but I really liked it when we first got into this house, and it's a funny movie. It does have some problematic things on it, but I don't know why everything is always so fucking racist. But anyway, white supremacy. Adam Sandler is a Zionist, which sucks because I really appreciate his humor. But anyway, I'm not in survival anymore, and I don't know. It just made me really reflect, because especially like this right now, I've been buying some shit. Like now I finally get to use my money for like buying fun stuff that I've always wanted to do, like the guitars, and having a savings account so that if I want to do something larger, we can, I have been living very, very restricted, emotionally, physically, monetarily, mentally. Especially as a single mom, it's been very intense. But I wanted to get on here and let you know, if you are in a space of survival and you feel like you're never going to get out of it, you can, and you will, if you choose to. Remember, life is a choice. Let me see if there's anything we can read in here quickly. I really need to read this book. Isolation cannot heal isolations. Oh, that's about sexual assault. So this has a lot of different there's a lot of sexual harassment, practical steps toward liberating and transformation. Talking about building community. Yeah, I gotta read this book. But I want you to know that within the movement and also within our personal lives, right, everything is the same. It sounds weird for me to be saying I'm out of survival mode when we are like collectively on the brink of needing to be in survival mode. But for me personally, having stable housing has been the reason that I've been able to get out of that space. Being able to pay my bills, being able to have the things that we need, being able to build every paycheck, buying things to make our home or our house a home, ensuring that my son has the proper things that he needs, including a mother who is stable in all of the ways of being, right? Right? Now I've got a haircut. Did I tell you guys that? You look so handsome. It is growing fast. I'm gonna have to get some of those clippers. Hey. What you two, dude? Anyway. So yeah. I remember how I felt watching that movie the first time when we first moved into this house. I remember what I was going through. It was like the same time of year. Well, it was January, February when we first moved in. But yeah, we didn't have shit in this house. And I am a maximalist. I like to create space, and ambiance is very important for me. But I just wanted to share because whatever you're going through, whatever you've been through, whatever you're going through right now, whether it's because of state sanctioned or interpersonal or family, whatever the cause of you being in survival mode, I want you to be able to hold on to the hope and fact that it doesn't last forever, because I thought it did. I thought I was just gonna be in this space, you know, and I'm finally being able to take care of myself. And I think daily discipline has been a huge part of this, which is something that I've struggled with my entire life. And again, it wasn't until this house, the past couple years that I've been able to, and you guys have watched that with Road to Wellness, with the quitting smoking, with the other things I've shared here. I really appreciate my YouTube channel because it's helped me stay accountable to myself. It's nice to like share these things about my life, even if no one watches them. It's nice for me to have an outlet to put it there, because my intention is to use my life as, that sounds really condescending, but I want to use my life as like a model, you know, not like I'm the one to follow. But I think when people struggle, oftentimes it feels like we're never going to get out of that shit. And I wanted to get on here and let you know, after decades, am finally out of survival mode. And yeah, I had to let everyone in my family go for that as well. I've had to perfect boundaries with myself, with others, with behaviors, with actions, with my temper. But all of that, you know, stress, oh God, the flies are back. I hate flies. The stress of not having stability or other traumatic events because of the state or other people I mean, I've been in a form of isolation, which is why I said I love isolating myself. I really do. Since the pandemic, I've just been like, wow, I love to be alone. But that I'm coming out of that because I'm coming out of survival mode. So I want you to know that this is a huge process if you are in it or if you're feeling like you're never going to get out of it. It takes a lot to find yourself again, to reconnect with who you are, to heal from the things that you didn't want to ever go through, but people did to you, or just life circumstances, whatever it is. I want you to be able to see that there is a way out. And if you need strategy to help yourself get out, I'm here and I'm available. I've been dubbed the captain. I'm very strategic in these things, so if you'd like help, I can help you. But I'm not forcing that on anyone, because to each their own. Your journey is your journey, right? But again, I think one of the most important things about this, in addition to affordable, stable, permanent housing, and this isn't our final destination, right? I still have every intention of being on my homestead and building that up, but I've been accumulating the things I want here, and then we're just gonna use a moving truck, right? One day. But right now, I'm cool in town. I like it in town. This town has given me a lot of opportunities. It is boring. There's not a lot here. But there are things very close, you know? So, anyway, I think speaking to transformative justice, none of us are free until all of us are free, first and foremost. So even when we do find ourselves in a more emotionally available or regulative space, I wouldn't say I'm emotionally available. I'm not that healed, but I am stable in who I am. I'm starting to be able to have conversations with humans again, trusting myself again, and all of this because of a goddamn Adam Sandler movie. This was what my process was yesterday, realizing, and I was able to just relax, and I was able to relax on my birthday. I'm not, since I've become a mother, I'm not someone who's able to rest during the day. It's very difficult for me to rest during the day because I've been having to do so much for the past 5 years, 6 years, if you include pregnancy, which I do. Ugh, pregnancy is the worst. No offense. It was not a fun thing for me. Anyway, and I would never do it again. But anyway, survival mode does not need to last forever. We are able to get out of it. So if you are someone who was born in survival mode and you've always been in survival mode, my advice is to do you to the best of your ability. Get away from people who put you in that space of needing to feel like you're in survival. Whether it was abandonment or neglect or abuse or sexual trauma or whatever, bullying, whatever it was, the people who don't treat you right do not deserve to be in your life, point blank, period. And I think that's one of the hardest parts. I think I teetered on this space of getting out of survival mode, but wanting my mother to come into consciousness so badly for so long that it was to the point of self-sabotaging. And I'm like, I can't do this anymore. Smoking was my one crutch that kept me in my shackles. And when I let that go, I was like, now that this is gone, I have to let everything else that could possibly stand in my way for what I know to be true for my life. I had to let that go. So I hope that this helps. I hope that you watch this and have the hope, at least, in the very least, that you're able to also do this, because you can. And I put all of these things here on my channel for a reason, because I have no problem being a test run and then coming back and reporting about how I got through it. I really like doing that. So I'm not trying to be egotistical, but this shit is really hard to navigate. And I didn't really have anyone to look up for that, so I'm hoping to pass the torch to those of you who need it. Alright? It doesn't last forever unless you stay in a victim mentality, unless you choose to. I'm not trying to make you into a victim or push you into that, but I'm letting you know that every decision we make impacts our life in the way that we live, in the way that things are available or not. And I'm not talking about systemic. I'm talking about, yes, I understand. I think I've already talked about that pretty intensely. I understand the implications of state-sanctioned violence and systemic oppression. I'm not trying to coast through that by any means. I am letting you know there are materials, resources, tools available from a lot of other people who have made it through things. What are you doing, child? Oh my god. This kid has only child syndrome. With good reason. We are only child. Well, I'm not. Anyway. But I'm not the only one. There's a lot of people who have talked about it, shared their stories. We want to be lighthouses for people who are in that space. We know how exhausting that is, how energetically extractive it is to be in survival mode. So do everything you possibly can to support yourself in getting your nervous system more balanced. I think we'll do I have this in my notes. I was gonna do it a while ago. I have to do some research about it though, but we can talk about our somatic responses and like the nervous system, what it actually looks like scientifically to be in fight or flight. I've done a couple trainings on that for de-escalation and mental health treatment. So I can share that here. It is on my agenda to share here. I don't know if I'm going to do that today because I'm kind of in a cleaning mode, and when I'm in a cleaning mode, I want to be there because cleaning is a sensory nightmare for me. So when I feel like cleaning, I have to do it. But I will do that shortly, within the next couple weeks. Remember, planetarily, everything is fucked up right now. We're in eclipse season. We're in retrogrades. We're coming up on the Virgo full moon. We're in Pisces season. We are in the depths. So if you're in a space of that, if you have the availability to process through any of this, I'm really still proud about this fish sticker being here because we've never had an aquarium, and that's really interesting. But anyway, okay. You don't have to be there forever. And if you need help out, I will help you. Have a good one.